Alright, so we had an issue with the recording. 2 videos got corrupted and were lost, so we were unable to retrieve them, and they were from my alt account. So my alt account has went through the Gourmet training and everything went smoothly, but I am now going to redo it in spirit with you so we can get this kind of recording done. I have made a document that has the list of all the ingredients you're going to need, all of the recipes that are involved, and some side notes, but we're going to cover some information here. First thing we're going to cover is we're going to cover some pre-things you should have covered, you should craft beforehand or buy beforehand. Now, I have leathering as a mastery, so I can use this as my example on here. Now, first off, we're going to do, you need 3 heating stones. I don't know why I put 3 there. And this is the heating stone. Now, if you do not have, if you're not generating spirit shards, as in like you don't have a map that you have maxed out, then you may not be able to actually craft this, which means you'll have to buy it. If you have to buy it, it's expensive. Just be aware. It's about 15 gold right now, about almost 16 gold. It fluctuates. Keep an eye on it. It does fluctuate. The lowest I've seen it this week is probably about 13 gold, and it will fluctuate between 13 and 18 gold, sometimes higher. And you'll need 3 of these. Or you can have a friend craft it for you if they really, really love you. Now I'm going to explain why this is so expensive. One, these particular ingredients are hard to come by. They're just harder to drop. They're exotic, so, you know, go figure. And these particular lesser vision zones, they require you to have about 300 dragon ore dust. So you have to do at least a few bosses. They require obsidian. So yeah, they can be crafted anytime as many as you want or as many of you have the ingredients. It's not a time gated thing on the dragonite ingots, which is good. Same thing with the M2 real stars as well. They are not time gated, but they are expensive. Just because for a new player they'd be expensive, for a veteran or a player who's played for a year or less, probably doesn't have too much, or like a 6 months to a year, probably don't have too much issues. The bloodstone bricks, right? These are also going to require dust and stuff. And the obsidians. If you are low on obsidian shards, you can get them from mining in your guild halls. If your guild hall has nodes, you can also get it from the wizard's tower for 50 points per one. And so yeah, you can get those. The other thing to this as well. This right here is the thing that you need the shards for. You need 60 shards to buy them, and I'll show you the vendor that sells them in a second, just in case you do have those shards and you're not wanting to try and break your bank, then there's that. But another thing you're going to need for this whole achievement is you're going to need 5 of these ingots here. So you're going to need a total of 8 of these in the entire thing. 3 to make the heating stones, and 5 for crafting. Same thing with the bloodstone, except you're going to need about 13, because you're going to need 3 to craft into the lesser crystals, and then you're going to need 10 for the actual achievement. So be mindful of that. Another thing you're going to need is, let me see if it'll type it up and let it pop in or not, is you're going to need this higher tier leather. You're only going to need 1 of them. This is an Ascalonian leather square. You're going to need 1 of it, and this is the time gated aspect of it. I'll show you what its recipe looks like. You have to be a certain level to craft it. You can also buy this off the post. Like I said, you need 1. It's only about 3 gold right now. It does fluctuate, but it's relatively close to about 2 gold normally. Now, another thing, and I'm going to shift to a different crafting station here just to showcase this. We are going to grab the what's for my axe? I like to use my axe as a reference. Okay, so you're gonna need 5 of these, of the ingots, the steel ingots, and these are your time-gated ones. That's why it's so expensive. These things here are relatively cheap. I think the most expensive mat is gonna be steel, or dark steel, but you can just either buy it off the market or farm it. It's not an extremely hard thing, it's just platinum. Now, this is the recipe for the lump, which you're going to need 5 of in order to make 5 of the steel. Now, you can only make 1 of these daily, but you can make as many as you want of these daily. It's just this is the time-gated thing. And you can also buy these off the market. If you want to buy them, it's about 18 gold, because they're about 3 each. But, so about 18 gold. And the same thing is going to be said for the next thing that I'm going to show you that's about the same price. And it's the wood. Now you're going to need 5 of these as well, and these is the time-gated part. This part's not. So you can only craft one of these daily, and it's about the same price as well. So like I said, you can buy the spirit plank, the steel ingot, the heating stone, and the leather off the market. You cannot buy the bloodstone or the dragon ingots. So that is something. The dragon ingots are going to be something you can craft. Now, if you have been following along with the cooking tutorial and stuff, you will be able to craft the bloodstone and ingots in your chefing stuff. So if, say, you want to buy the other stuff and you can't really, you don't have any other thing like maxed out, you can craft it here in this thing. Same thing with the blood. So these 2 recipes here are the only ones you're going to have to definitely craft yourself, and you can't buy them, you can't sell them, they're just part of it. Now, we are also going to go and deal with there are 4 things we need to grab, but they're from 4 heart vendors, and one's 2 are heart vendors and 1 is a karma vendor. Now I have the links down here, so we're going to go to there. I'm going to pause while we go and grab this stuff, and I'll show you what to grab off their list. All right, we have made it to one of the vendors. All right, this heart mission right here. There's gonna be 2 things he has on his menu that I believe we're gonna want to grab. All right, I'm gonna fly over here because I'm lazy. That lag spike's bad. I wonder if there's a boss fight going on. Anyways, this is I believe he's got. Also, if you come up with one of these heart missions and it's empty or not fully full, he will not sell you anything. So if that happens, just do his mission and then it'll all be good. I'll have links in below as well for each of these karma vendors and where they're at. You see he's willing to talk to me. Now, you're going to need the celery stalk, and you're only going to need 1 bag of it, and you're going to need this bag. I'd also grab a bag of, I believe, lemons while you're here. Because if I remember correctly, I use this recipe for specifically something, and you can grab a bag of apples. Now, I'll showcase exactly why I want the apples and lemons, because they're not part of the achievement, but the celery and the cumes are. So you'll buy those things for him, and you only need 1 bag of each. You won't need a whole ton of them. And this is where that waypoint is. He's over here in the covered fields, right outside of Lion's Arch. Now, I'm going to move to the next target, and like I said, I'll put these links in the where for you all to be able to find them. And 1 second. Okay, so we've made it to the vendor. This is the frog vendor. Now, his right now the waypoint is contested, and it is the hunting banks, and this is the closest waypoint there. But the next closest is up here near the other thing, and we're in the Timber Falls location. Now, you're only going to need to get 1 thing, and you don't. If it's contested here, you can still talk to him. Now, what you need to grab from him is 1 bag of this. All right, and each bag of these things has like 25 of them as well. So that's why you don't need very many of them. At least not for this section of it. All right, and I'm going to move to the last vendor in Trinity. Give me a second. All right, we have landed. So this person is the vendor that you're going to need. It's a karma vendor. It's not a heart vendor. But you can walk up to this karma vendor and talk to them, and they will have mangoes. Buy 1 bag of mangoes. And that will be all that you will need for karma-related ingredients. And that should make it a lot easier. Everything else, I'm going to go over now the ingredients you're going to get from the post. Now I'm going to go to my homestead, and we're going to craft from there, because I already bought the stuff preemptively, so I don't have to worry about it. But I'm going to show you what you should buy off the TP. All right, I am now in my homestead. Now you'll see that I have an oven in my home instance. This is exactly what's going to end up happening with the achievement, right? Because you're going to end up having this guy come in your home instance, and you'll talk to him, obviously, to start the whole endeavor, right? So, say you gathered the heating stones and all that stuff. You don't have to worry about it being a negative thing. But you'll talk to him, and he'll start the mission. I believe that you'll have a little, it'll be a little square with a crown on it, and it'll talk to things. So you have to come back to him, talk to him a few times. But he'll send you to different vendors to talk to, because these vendors are going to be the ones who essentially teach you how to be a chef. And it'll be almost all of the chefs in each of the major cities for each race. And then there's going to be 1 extra NPC in each of those areas as well. that will cover. Now, I'm going to do the crafting on this thing, but this is what your oven will look like when you have finally mastered chefing. And it'll be a permanent fixture for this toon. So as long as I'm on this toon, I can craft on this. If I bring my NG and come here, he doesn't have master a chef, so this oven doesn't exist for him. So, yeah. But I'm going to cover right now some of the ingredients. Now, you can either buy some of these off of the post, or you can farm them. If you can farm them or you already have them in your supply, good. And I'm just going to look at the thing. This is all you're going to need to do this achievement as far as all of the foods and stuff. And you'll notice that I have like the mangoes and stuff open. And I only have one, so I only need one of them. And so, like, this is like obviously when you get here to do this part, open all of those little bags and keep them out. So it's not anything crazy. I also made, like I said, a document listing it. And I'm going to showcase the document as to what it looks like. All right. So let me showcase here what it looks like. All right, this is part 1 of this achievement, as you'll see. Now, as you can see on the achievement, there are, this is right here is specifically the Norn region, and this is the first 3 achievements on your gourmet recipe. And these are the 3 recipes you're supposed to cook for the chefing NPC. And there's a list of ingredients on there and stuff. Now, the salt and pepper is listed on there, and it shows that you need like 2 of the salt, 2 pepper, and 2 pepper and salt. You do not need that. You either can craft the salt and pepper, or you can buy it. If you have the ingredients to craft the salt and pepper, I suggest you use it instead of buying it, because pepper is expensive. If you do not have pepper, the black pepper or the salt to cover it, the salt's covered by an NPC, so it's not too big a deal. But say you don't have the pepper for it, then just go ahead and buy piles of salt and pepper off the post. So that's the lower section of that right here. This is options between A or B. But like I said, if you've got these crafting mats, craft it versus buying it. It's just easier, especially since you've already got it. But pepper is sometimes harder to find, so it's a little bit more of an annoying thing. It's not an extremely expensive product. And as you can see on this list, here's the Karma farm, the Karma NPC that we went to. And obviously you'll see that these are some of the ingots and the Dragonite ore and one of the spirit wood that I mentioned. This is because you're going to need this for this first set of achievements. And it's important that we start in Holbrecht. So the reason we have that is because Holbrecht actually has a timer. Right here, the second NPC that we're going to talk to has a 2-hour timer, and if we do this achievement set there, then we can get this going, and by the time we finish the achievement, this timer might be either all the way done or almost done. And at the bottom of your page of your like skills between 6 and 0, there'll be a little blue clock that pops up, and you can look at the timer on there, so it'll tell you where it's at. But obviously, you're going to have to you'll end up seeing on your end, but not mine. Now, we're going to move to Holbrecht, and I'm going to show you the exact NPC that you need to talk to, and then we're going to craft these 3 items so that you can see what they look like. And then we're going to go talk to the NPC, mostly so I can show you where he's at and what he looks like. It's a lot easier to find him if you know what you're looking for. All right, give me a second, and I'll pause this. Alright, so we have made it to Holbrecht. This is the chef you will talk to. Now, when you talk to her, she'll mention something about, what you met so-and-so, he's renowned for blah, blah, blah. He basically talks about how he sent word to her to let her know that you need to craft her stuff. So, she's going to have you craft 3 recipes specifically, and I'm going to go ahead and swap to the page so you can see it. It's right over here. She's going to have you do these 3 here. One with the bowl of snow truffle, the one with sesame seed roasted dinner, and stage stuffing poultry. Now, you probably see beside each of these red titles, it says Discover. This is because in crafting, there is automatic recipes, meaning that you'll get them no matter what. No matter what player you are, you will automatically get those. And then when it comes to discovery, it means you have to put these components into the discovery panel of the cooking in order to have this pop up. Now, as you can see, I have broken it down, and you're going to notice it's broken down into almost like 3 sections. It's because I'm breaking it down. I designed this whole document based off somebody who is crafting it from the bare mats they have. Now, you may not have all the mats for this. If you don't freak out. But I crafted these so you know which parts that you need if you have them. Because it's cheaper in the long run if you can craft it from the very basics that you have. Like if you've got salt and pepper, it's easier just to craft salt and pepper piles for yourself than it is to try and buy it. It just saves you money. You already have it, you might as well use it, right? If you don't have the ingredients, or you don't find that that's worthwhile, only craft the capital letters A, B, C, and D. In most cases, these are either craftable things you can do as an automated recipe. I think there's only one on here that is a discovery one, or they're things you can buy from the NPCs. And as you can see on the left-hand side, they are listed here. Obviously, there is the craft beforehands, because we're going to need the steel, the dragonite, and 1 spirit wood for this first section of the achievement. And then you got snow and the carrots and onions and things like that. Those things you can buy or farm. And then you have obviously your karma, which we've already went through and grabbed stuff. And then you have the stuff that's buying from vendor. This is specifically the chef vendor. And so they're things you can buy from the individual. And then obviously the salt and pepper. If you see these listed here, salt, either crafting mat or the buying mat, you only have to do one or the other. It's more of an option at the bottom. And then we have our note here about the 2-hour mark and stuff. We'll get into that. Now I'm going to try and show you how these recipes look in this recipe, the crafting thing. So it'll make it a lot easier to kind of visualize it. All right. So I have obviously already figured this recipe out. So this is why this recipe is popping up here for me. But when you're going to do it, you'll be doing it in Discovery. But when you're doing this recipe, obviously you have the karma and stuff. Some things like the soup, the cream of soup base, are things you have to do preemptively. You can buy this off the post instead of crafting it if you want to. But as I said, I'm going to craft them as if I was doing with all the resources. And I have all the resources in my inventory to craft those right now, which is all this stuff right here. So we're going to do that, and I'll show you what it looks like as we go along. You only need one of those for this particular recipe. You only need one of these. And then you just craft that. And then you make that. Then you'll get a little icon that pops up here, lets you know that you've done it. And then we'll move to the next recipe real quick. All right. Sorry, I was pulling the thing. But I realized I probably should clarify this. This base, see, as I've already discovered it, so it's already part of the basic thing. But you would take this and you would come here, right? So this one requires you to have the snow truffle, the karma, and then the bowl of cream. You would take it and you go in here and you would stick it inside this particular thing. It's grayed out for me, so you see I can't necessarily, I don't get points for it, and it doesn't really give me a new recipe. So give me a second while I attempt to try and find if it will let me at least fake it till I make it kind of thing. What else was it? Does it even show my base soup? I don't know if it did. Oh no, it's because I didn't craft it. Okay. But yeah, you would put it in here and say these were your 3 ingredients, right? They're not, but say they were. Then you won't get an X with you when you have the ingredients all in there. It'll turn into an O for you. So then it'll say like new discovery or something, and then you just push craft and it'll make it. And then when you do that, it becomes a permanent recipe. But it's the same thing. You just take all this and you put it in discovery, and then it pops in just fine and it's yours. It's like I said, this is the only thing that's going to make it difficult for you, because for me it's here, but for you it's here. So I marked all the ones that were going to be found in discovery. If it doesn't have a marking on it saying discovery in brackets beside it, then it just means it's a basic recipe that you can do outright, so you don't have to worry about it. I think there's only like a handful of them like that, most of them being the achievement recipes that you need for the event, and then one other. Like there's one other that's just like a candy corn one. So we're going to move to the next one real quick on the list. This is the other one, right? This one here is going to be the sesame seed meat one. And also keep all of these when you're done, because we're going to show something. So You see, and then there's red meat, and you need the ginger thing. This is from a vendor. This you can buy off the post. You can buy this off the post, and you can buy this off the post. We got, like I said, we got enough to make this recipe work just fine. Craft it. That's that. And you'll take this and you'll put it into the discovery thing along with the masked spice jam. So you'll have salt and pepper. And as I said, this is what salt and pepper looks like. We're going to craft one of these just to showcase what it looks like. If you've got the ingredients for it, great. If you don't do it. All right. And this one here is a deeper one. You just got to do one of those. That's the thing. These achievements are all layered. They're not hard, they're just layered. So you would take these two and you would put them in this spot here in order to make a recipe. As you can see, it doesn't pop up anymore for me because it's not longer a recipe I can learn. But you'd craft it, you'd get a little bing right here saying you did it, and we'll move on to the last recipe that she'll want. Alright, here is the other recipe, the last recipe she'll want. Now, loaf of bread, you can buy from a vendor. I don't ever buy it. It's so cheap to make. These are literally things you can buy from her, all of it. And they're really cheap. But you'll craft yourself one loaf. I already have 60, so I'm not going to craft it. And then you need poultry, you're going to need sage, and you're going to need pork stock. The poultry stock. You're going to use a lot of poultry stock. You're going to have to get used to this because there's a lot of it in this recipe. But you would take these things and you put them in discovery, and then boom. Then you'd go to her, tell her, hey, I've done this thing, and she goes, cool. Now you should go and try and make a better oven. Now I'm going to go to the next NPC because she'll send us to the next NPC who's going to need the steel ingots, he's going to need the dragonite ore, and he's going to need a plank, spirit plank, in order to craft you a better oven. So 1 second while I do that. Alright, we have made the long journey. This is your NPC. You'll walk up to him, he'll tell you what he needs, you'll give him he'll have a list, and if you've got him already, you'll just give it to him. Otherwise, you can get him as you come by it, come across it. But this is his waypoint. He is literally across the way from her. Most of these NPCs are relatively close, so don't freak out too much. Now, once you give him everything, he'll tell you that it'll take him a little while to build it. And right here in blue, you'll get a little blue clock that pops up, and it'll say 2 hours till he's done doing it. The reason I always say do Hallbreak first, other than being top of the list of your achievement, is because it's super important because you can do the rest of the achievement and theoretically either have spare time left over just to wait, or it'll be ready to go by the time you're done. Last time I did it, I literally was done, and he was done right when I was done. Now, we are now moving to an entirely different district, and I made an entirely different page for the district that we're going to. We are going to the Savari Lands. Now, at the Savari Lands, the NPC we're going to deal with is a mender, and the mender, we're going to kind of see him twice, because we're going to see him for seeds, and then we're going to come back for him later with compost, and we'll get to that. But first, we have to talk to their chef. So hang in there while I swap over to them. Alright, we're in Savari Land. This is your NPC you're going to talk to. You walk up to them, you'll say hi. They'll tell you, hey, can you, you're so-and-so's friend, blah, 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 craft me this. And they'll list the 3 you're crafting. And as you can see, I already got, it pulled in. This is what waypoint you'll want to take. It's the Reckoning Beacon. And the mender you're going to want to talk to is right across the way over here. But we're going to talk to her first. Now I'm going to speed through this one pretty quickly because this is going to be the worst one of them all. Because it's not necessarily expensive, it's just extremely long. So she'll have you craft 4 meals, and you'll see that this doesn't look too bad for a first starting. This one's not the worst, so we'll do this. And I also have a list for it as well. And like I said, you take these ingredients and you'd put it in the discovery, but because I've already discovered it, we're doing it this way. So play pretend with me. Now, this one right here is going to be, these next 2 ones are going to be really long. Now, if you already did cream based, you can also buy these, as I said, you can also buy this too, and you can buy herbs. I normally get lazy and I buy the herbs, because I don't like doing it. But, and that's why you can see I have herbs. But, I have got the ingredients for it. This is the problem. This is the soup again. We're going to do it one more time. Like I said, I've got plenty of ingredients to work with, so we're just going to go through with it. And I'm going to try and make it quick, because we've already done this one. You're going to need 1 avocado, which you can farm. This one you can craft. These ones you can store in your material storage. Be careful, I believe some things can't. This is the recipe for the soup stock, and you're going to end up needing it a little bit more too. But I think maybe you only need one of these, because I think you only need like 1 or 2 potatoes. But then, yeah. So that's what you would get for this. And then... Alright. The last one is this one. It's a lot easier once you discover them, because then you don't have to worry about it. But you will take all 4 of these things, you put them in Discovery, and boom. You know, you got it, and you don't have to worry about it. Now, this one's going to be a pain in the butt, because this... Honestly, when I did it, I just bought this. I didn't even bother with it, because I hate doing this one. But, like I said, we're going to pretend that we're doing this from a player's perspective. So you craft this, and you'll craft this one as well. You take the herbs. You can also craft the herbs, which is here. I already have the herbs, and I crafted them earlier. So there's that. And then you can grab this. And this one's a really cheap thing. You already did it once with the first one. Craft it, boom, you have it. Then use upholstery meat, and then it's noodles. You only need 1 set of it. And there you go. On paper, this looks like a whole nightmare, but in practice, it's really, really quick. And like I said, you would take these 3 things, and you would put them in here, and you would have them, right? Everything else here, you'll know automatically crafting-wise. As I said, I'll make a point when we get there. Now, I'm going to show you the list of ingredients I have for this page, and then we're going to go talk to the mender real quick. Okay, as you can see, this is the page I have. It has got the first recipe's ingredients. It shows you the different stuff. And like I said, as long as you craft the A, the B, or as long as you have the A and B, C and D items, you can put those in Discovery immediately. So if you want to cut the corners, you can. Just take out all the fat. Just make sure you have A, B, C, and D. Or depending on, some of the recipes have like only A, B, C. But as long as you have the capital letters, you can like buy those off the post, and you don't have to worry about it. And those are important to keep. So mind that. You'll also notice that in this particular listing, that it lists packed salt or packaged salt, and it doesn't have the salt and pepper suggestions. It's because you don't need salt and pepper for this one, but you do need packets of salt. There's a few recipes where you just need the salt, not the pepper. And as I said, there's the full list of all of the items you can get from the poster farming. There is the Karma Farmer that we already went to, and then there is also the buying from the chef vendor, which this individual will have. And like I said, then there's the piles of salt, peppers, and stuff. You can either, like I said, this one allows you can either craft it or you can use it. Personally, I don't use it. I just kind of buy it. Now we're going to go talk to the mender real quick, and I will explain more about him. All right, this is the mender that we need to speak to. You'll go up to him. He'll talk to you about wanting to share, garden stuff with you and everything like that. And there'll be 2 sets of things you need to do with it. If you come and talk to him and you haven't made the composter, he will tell you, hey, here, take these tools, go farm this particular node, which I'll go stand by one, and then you will get a seed drop. Once you get that seed drop, come back, talk to him, showcase it, and then we're going to skip coming back to him for composter until after we get to Radisum. Now, there's a reason for this, because you can technically craft it before you talk to him and everything and get the seeds and everything, but I find it to be an annoying thing to do because it's just easier to come back to talk to him anyways, because the composter that you need, you don't really need it until you have the garden plot, because he's the one that's going to give you your first garden plot for free. Because this is the benefit of doing chefing. You get one for free, and he's your guy who's going to do it. And if you don't got the garden plot, you don't really need the composter right away. So while you're here, you can get the seeds for him, or you can go talk to him, because he's across the way. He's literally right over here from her. She's over here somewhere, and you just walk over here, talk to him. There's a little island. Talk to him, and then head to the next location, which on our paper, I believe, is going to be... It's going to be Charland. But his mission gets completed via the Asuran, which is the last part of this achievement. But like I said, come talk to him, and then he'll tell you to go find some seeds, and I will go to a node to show you the kind of nodes he's looking for. Alright, I found one of the variant herbs that you're going to want, or variant herbs. It'll be this one, or it'll be mature herbs that you'll want to harvest. When you harvest it while you have the Gourmet Chef up, you have a higher chance of getting it. But when you get it, you'll get these seeds that you're going to want to have. Let me see if I can pop it up and show you what it looks like. Does it show me? Sorry, I might need you in there. There we go. It'll look like these. It'll be the variant herb seeds. But it'll be a plant like this. So it'll be one of these, or it'll say mature herbs. But they're there. And I found mine up in Fireheart Rise around this point of interest, which is God's Hand. Alright, now we're in Charland. We're going to head to the Char Chef. This is the waypoint I came in on, but I think I either linked this one, or this one, or this one. Either one is equally as distant apart from each other, but this one's close to the market. But we're going to go over to the chef now, and we're going to talk to him. He's at the back over here, so if he doesn't render in right away, don't freak out. But this is who you need to talk to. He'll be the next vendor that you need to talk to, and he'll give you, again, he'll tell you, oh yeah, you got sent here by so-and-so, hey, here's 3 recipes, blah, 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 blah. And then you'll go over here and you'll start the recipes. Now I'm going to show you the recipes. Give me a moment. Alright, so this is the first one. Now, you'll notice it doesn't have very much at first, right? Well, it's this thing that costs a lot. It's the chili. Now, you can buy this from the post if you want to kind of cut this part out. But you don't have to, because you really just need these 3 things to put into the discovery, and you'll get credit for it. Just don't craft this before you talk to this NPC. Like, with any of the NPCs, the same thing. It just makes it to where you don't have to craft it twice. But you can buy this off the post and not worry about it. But we're going to do it as if you were building it from, like, bottom up. Right? And you can see how quickly this gets really deep with this, because you have to make your seasonings. And seasoning bags are a pain. And see, the seasoning right here, the one you can buy at the post, can't be stored. This is what I was saying earlier about some bags of spices not being able to be stored. So be careful when crafting spicings, because you may need to have storage space for it. So we're going to start with the tangy season one. We're going to craft 1 of it. Then we're going to craft 1 paprika. And you can, like I said, you can buy them. And there's also bell peppers. I think on my list I bought paprika. But I think you can talk to this NPC here about it. And they sell it as a bag. That's correct. Yeah, it's right here. They sell it as a bag.
I'll be seeing you.
It's not too bad. I need to make sure I put that on the list. I may have missed that. I have to fix some of it. Anyways, but this is part of the ones you got from the NPC. The one, one of the karma ones, which is why it's important. And like I said, you can bypass this part and just buy the soup, and it's not a big deal. This right here, this is a karma thing you can get from the NPC here. There's onions, basil, and then a head of garlic and stuff. Now, I've already crafted 1 earlier, so I'm not too worried about it. Now, we are, I might grab it off my tune real quick. But, give me a second, and I'm going to, this you could buy off the post as well. The tomatoes come from this individual. And I believe the basil can be bought from these NPCs as well. You can't sell it or buy it. And then you need a head of garlic and an onion. And that will make these seasonings. Now, the reason I prefer to not make these bags of seasonings myself is because they do not store. You can sell them, but they cannot store. So it actually becomes a nuisance. Be very careful when you're trying to make bags of seasonings for that reasons. But you can skip this part and try and just craft the chili powder as you want to, or you can just use it that way. I have it listed anyways. So this is what I have for it. We're going to go ahead and craft it. And then, as I said, you put these 3 ingredients in the discovery thing, and that's your first batch. Now, we'll move on to the second one in a second while I get it pulled up. Alright, this is our second thing, which is basically lemongrass, it is poultry, it is a ghost pepper, and it's a ball of soy sauce. The soy sauce is a vendor-bought item, so you just go to the chef, buy it from them, and the rest of the stuff you can get from farming or buy it from the post. You just need to make 1 of those, pop it into discovery instead of here, and boom, there's that. Now we'll move on to the last one before we move on to the notes on the other NPC. Alright. And this is the last one. This is the easiest, hands down recipe you got. Throw meat, throw a ghost pepper into the discovery thing, boom. That's all you need. Right? I'm going to go ahead and craft it. This was probably the easiest one you're going to have to do as far as recipes go.
And we can just dance the night away until we can no more. Shake all the hurt away so you can feel and forget